Here the first one is the epithelial tissue, and some special features are here. The covering or protective tissues in the animal body are epithelial tissues, just like that of the epidermal tissues of the plant. It covers the entire body surface. It also not only entire body surface but also covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. Now, what is the shape of the cell and the structure? The cells of the epithelium are tightly packed and form a continuous sheet, as because it is the from protection viewpoint, there is no any discontinuity. Otherwise, the defensive work will be affected. The intercellular space is absent. The cells are bound to a non-cellular basement. This is the one new thing for you, non-cellular basement membrane. Tightly packed, cells are tightly packed, and there is no intercellular spaces, and the shape of the cell may be flat, cuboidal. When we will study about its different types, the types depends also upon the shape of the cell. That is why the epithelial tissue may be the cuboidal epithelium and columnar epithelium, depending upon the shape of the cell. Next point, the cells are tightly held together by a cell junction and cementing substances. This is also one of the important points. The cells together, the cells of the tissue together, like when there is a cube shape, there is a one important thing is here, that is the basement, non-cellular basement. It is the non-cellular basement. This part, and this two cell, the cells are tightly held together by cell junction and cementing substances. These two cells together held tightly with the help of the cementing substances. There is no blood supply to these cells. So this is the some special features of as regard to their occurrence or the distribution in the body, it covers the entire surfaces, and also there are some important organs and different parts of the body also covered by this type of tissue. In the next part we will see that one, what are the different occurrence, what are the different parts in the body where it is present and the important functions. Before the classification, it is just some key points, and when you will study about its type, you will get all these points there also. That is why it is the basic features, and if you will know these features, then it is easy to understand about the different types of the tissue. Here are some parts where the epithelial tissue is located, like it is the covering, protective covering, and covers the entire surface in over the body, and some body organs, and the outer layer of the skin, and cavities It lines some organs like here buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestine, nose, alveoli, lungs, all blood vessels. These are the some locations. Now there are some important functions which I have mentioned here in points, like number one, protection, as it is the continuous sheet of the animal's body and it covers the entire surfaces of the body and also protect the internal organ and the hollow cavities. That's why it is protective in nature. How it protects? Under the adverse environmental conditions like chemical, when there is a chances for entry of any harmful chemical, pathogen, then at that time it protect the body. Barrier. Barrier means the organ, the system and the entire part of the body which it has covered, that will create a barrier between the two organs, between the system and between the different parts of the body. Here the exchange of materials, the exchange of some materials between the environment and the body, and also between the body, different parts of the body, organs are the parts of the body are the different organs. Between the different organs there is a possibilities of exchange of substances with the help of the permeability ability of the epithelial cells. And here is the next point here, absorption. Within the intestine, the water and the other materials, the nutrient absorbed, and that is also the function of this tissue. Secretion. Some modified, when epithelial tissue modified and form the glandular epithelial, at that time it will secrete, it will form the two different types of glands present there. Those glands are known as the exocrine gland with duct and endocrine gland without duct. With these two ducts, that means the exocrine and endocrine, different types of chemical substances secreted. Mainly from the exocrine, enzymes are secreted, and from the endocrine, hormones are secreted. And also within the skin there are presence of sebaceous gland, sweat gland, and the secretions of that gland, also the functions of this epithelial tissue. And germinal epithelium, within the lines of the testes and ovaries, there are presence of the epithelial cells lining, and as these two important reproductive organ, like in male testes and in female ovaries, produces the sperm male gamete and the ova or egg female gamete. That's why it is also germinal function, germinal in function. Nerve conduction, it will also detect when it present within the nose, within the tongue, like gustatoreceptor. You will know that the tongue is known as the gustatoreceptor, the nose is known as the olfactoreceptor, and similarly within the ear, the epithelial tissue, which is the ear part of the sense, is known as the phonoreceptor. So all these functions also, when there are linings of the epithelial tissues in the nose, in the tongue as a gustatoreceptor, tongue is perform its function as a gustatoreceptor, nose is perform its function as a olfactoreceptor, that detecting of the taste, detecting of the smell, tongue detecting for the taste, and similarly hearing purpose in case of the sense of hearing, in the case of the ear. So all these are also the nerve conduction function. So these are the some important locations and functions. When we will study separately the different types of epithelial, then you will see some more comprehensive way the locations and the important functions. Depending upon the two different criteria. The first criteria is the layer, cell layer which are present in the epithelial, and the second important criteria, shape and structure, shape and functions. Shape on the basis of shape of the cell and functions of the cell. So there are two different criteria depending upon which the epithelial tissue has been classified in such a way. Like on the basis of cell layer, it is of two types. The first one is the simple squamous epithelium, where there is only one layer. It is mainly composed with a single cell layer, and stratified squamous epithelium where there is a more than one cell layer present, that is known as stratified squamous epithelium. When like it is the basement, and if in this on this basement there are presence of this only a single layer, then this is the simple squamous epithelium. But if more than one layer, like several layers present, that in on those several layers, maybe in some layer of cells may be cuboidal, some layers of cell may be the epithelium also. It is also an unique feature of this. Like here basement, and in that on this basement, like here cuboidal, and maybe columnar, maybe columnar cells also present, maybe columnar cells also present, maybe column. This is the more than one layer. Maybe once again there is some layers, some layers here. So this may give an idea that depending on the number of layer of cells present, it is of two types, simple squamous epithelium, and the second one is the stratified squamous epithelium. When there is a single layer, it is simple squamous epithelium. When the layer is more than one, it is stratified. May it also called the compound or complex. The second important criteria on the basis of which the epithelial or epithelium has been classified, that is the shape of the cell. Shape, if there is a shape of the cell, maybe the cube shape, that is known as the cuboidal. If the shape of the cell pillar like, taller one, and columnar, it is known as columnar epithelium. And if both, maybe the cuboidal and columnar, also possess the cilia, then cilia like this, like projections, cilia. So then it is maybe the ciliated, maybe it is the ciliated. So this is the classification, and also the some modifications, that is the glandular, like here there is a secretion of chemical substance. This is the exocrine. The chemical substance will secrete. This is the skin layer. Here is the presence of exocrine gland, and they may secrete. Similarly, there are secretions of the from the exocrine. May I tell you here clearly? The glandular epithelium is the modifications. Glandular epithelium modified. Why modification? For performing some special functions. Modified glandular epithelium modified like the exocrine modified to form secretion purpose. Exocrine with duct, glands with ducts. It mainly secretes enzymes. And the second important, like the endocrine glands without duct. Its main secretion is hormones. So there are also some modifications. Similarly, there are sweat glands, sebaceous glands, etc. also present. The duct means their secretions may be poured into the ducts, and then it will be absorbed by the blood circulatory system, and its secretion hormone directly absorb or diffuse to the blood. So this is the some criteria depending upon which there are two major group of, like the depending upon the layer of cells, and now second one is the depending upon the shape and structure, shape and function of the cell. Shape and function both are correlated in the epithelial tissue. That's the classification.